This afternoon I'm going to share my paper on code switching in mixed marriages, the case of Filipino-Malaysian couples. So this one will give you an idea on how Filipino-Malaysian couples interact with each other and the language that they use and how the occurrence of code switching happen in the interaction. The purpose of this research is to examine the code switching patterns in mixed couples communication in the home building. So actually, when we talk about couples normally talk at home or even outside. However, I'd like to highlight in this paper that there is a limitation that the study is focused only in the home domain. So just to give you an overview about the participants that I have. So I have Filipino participants and Malaysian participants. But to give an overview about the Philippines, Philippines has a population of 80 million in 2007, and the economy of the Philippines in the past few years could be considered as not very much stable. So as a result, people would prefer to look for jobs outside the Philippines to have a better income. And at the same time, due to the problem of unemployment, which is of higher percentage, so people also migrated. So looking at the Filipinos, Filipinos they speak different languages. There are so many languages in the Philippines, and there are a lot of major languages as well. And so when Filipinos migrate to other countries, so they use English, since English is also widely spoken in the Philippines. And in fact, English is considered to be the official language, one of the official languages in the Philippines, apart from Filipino, which is the national language. So, Philippines is very rich in culture, and people are not very much concerned of their ethnicity, but people in the Philippines are more regionalistic. If you're going to ask them on what ethnicity they belong, it would be very difficult for a Filipino to answer that. But if you're going to ask a Filipino to what region did you come from, then we can easily identify ourselves. So as far as language is concerned, in the Philippines, people mostly are multilingual. So we speak different languages aside from our regional language. We have the national language plus English, and others speak other foreign languages. Looking at Malaysia, so there are some similarities. In Malaysia, there are a lot of ethnic groups, and at the same time, there are a lot of languages spoken. And in Malaysia, there are three major ethnic groups like the Malay, the Chinese, and Indians, aside and other ethnic groups in Sabah and Sarawak. And in Malaysia, Bahasa Malaysia is the national language. However, English is widely spoken, and it serves as a lingua franca among the other ethnic groups in Malaysia. So, looking at mixed marriages between Filipinos and Malaysia, so if we're going to trace actually the history of mixed marriages among the Filipinos and Malaysia, we can trace, even in the past, mixed marriages happened. But it was very common in Sabah and somewhere in Sabah and in the Philippines because of the proximity of the place. So there were already mixed marriages. However, in the past, those were not documented. So just at present, most of the mixed marriages that happen in Malaysia between Filipinos and Malaysians are now documented. Although, when I went to the Philippine Embassy, there were or I would say a few number of Filipinos who got married with the Malaysians which are not documented. And there was a hard time for me to trace the actual number of Filipinos who got married with the Malaysians because there were quite a lot of people who registered, but after they registered, they did not come back to confirm whether they were married or not. So there were records, but only a few came back for for confirmation. So talking about mixed marriages, I am focusing in the 21st century, that one of the common reasons why mixed marriages happen between Filipinos and Malaysia, and this is caused by migration of Filipinos to Malaysia for economic reasons. So specifically for employment purpose. So if you're going to look at the Filipinos who are working here in Malaysia, a lot of them are working, and you could classify them. Others are working, doing these blue-collar jobs, and others are working with these white-collar jobs. However, based on my study, although I could not generalize because I did not really explore all the different states in Malaysia, but I concentrated only in Kuala Lumpur and in Kuching. And based from the data that I gathered, it turned out that most female entertainers got married to Malaysians, although there were also some Filipinos who are working as professionals or working in higher education and working in some other companies who got married also with the Malaysians. But majority that I've talked and I've interviewed were mostly female entertainers. And looking at the Filipinos who got married with the Malaysians, majority are females. And in fact, out of 60 individuals, equivalent to 30 couples that I interviewed, it turned out that there were only 2 Filipino males who got married with the local Malaysians. Majority were females. My initial analysis for this, why most of the Filipinos who got married with the Malaysians were female entertainers, because these were the people who are very exposed, to different peoples because of the type of jobs that they have. Okay, so here I looked at, if you're going to look back with the title that I have in my paper, so it's mixed marriages. Okay, but I'm looking at code switching in mixed marriage. Actually, this one is just a branch of my dissertation that I am doing, because after I did my data gathering, I found out that there were a lot of code switching, and then I said it could be very much useful to look at also code switching in an interaction between Filipino and Malaysian couples. So looking at code switching in this paper, I got this definition from Miller, which is, I believe, very much suited with the kind of paper that I'll be presenting today. Where code switching is defined as the practice of selecting or altering linguistic elements so as to contextualize talk and interaction. So my focus here is not the usual analysis of code switching, wherein you identify, like you look at the markedness model, or looking at the syntactic structure, the intersentential or intrasentential